super dial. We are Voice of the People. We are 90.3 FM. We are here because you're there. Welcome everyone. And check your time is 10:42 a.m. My name is Jude. Ikami Jude. And I would always say I'm here because you're there. This time around, I want to take you on a journey, a special journey. You will like this journey when we're back, okay? It has to do with health. Yeah, health journey. In fact, today is back to back health. We want to talk health, 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 health. You know why? Because after health is wealth, and you need wealth to sustain your health. Oh, I know book. All right. Everyone, get ready. Let's go on this ride, okay? My guest will be giving you all of the information you need, all right, as we journey, okay? If we'll stop at Ore to get banana, he will let you know. If we'll stop at, where again? Is it Benin? Where did they stop again? People where they travel out. Eh? Okay, it's okay. He will tell you everything you need to know. He is Ambassador Femi. Talk to us, please.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Judy.
Yeah.
Good morning, beautiful people. This is the one and only Ambassador Femi from Emerald Elysia or Emerald Global. And here I have my partner here.
Good morning, my listeners. My name is Blessing Adetinji, your one and only naturopathic doctor in their house.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to us about Emerald Elysia.
Now, I will first of all be talking about Elysia. Elysia simply means total solution from every form of health challenges that people might be passing through. Today, we find out that a lot of people failed in the area of checking up on themselves or taking cognizance of what is actually happening in their environment. In addition, the wrong food that we eat or wrong choices we make have actually polluted the environment and all the rest of them. The polluted environment we also live has contributed majorly to the health challenges a lot of people today are actually suffering, knowingly or unknowingly to them. And that is why we are bringing a solution to them, what they can do and how to do it, and at the same time, how they can live healthy, not only them, and also for that of their loved ones. Because a healthy man is a wealthy man.
I love it when you say a healthy man, just like I said earlier, a healthy man is a wealthy man. And some people will want to talk about the Elysia.
Yes. So now, the Elysia is an ancient, this is the first time we are bringing active ingredients from two continents. That is the Asian continent and also the African continent. So two continents coming together to give us a profound solution for the first time. And we have a secret called the Asian licorice. Now this licorice is what the pharaohs or the rulers of the world previously were using to prepare sweet wines, not only for them, and also to serve as a treatment routes to treat their soldiers, their soldiers when they go for wars and all the rest of them. So when they come back, they use it to take care of them, to heal them internally and also externally. And it's also what they are also using to preserve their kings or their rulers for years to come, to make them, to keep them alive. And even when they are gone, they still use it to preserve them for some period of time. That today, majority of us are still having history of what has happened back then is because of the preservative they actually did back then. And this root is one of the secrets that these guys were actually using previously, called the licorice. Now, this licorice as a root can take care of more than 280 different ailments. And I'm telling you this morning, we are not just here to talk about herbal product, but we are bringing what? A novel brand to the people. A novel brand. Even NAFDAC at registration, we got to know that what we are bringing is not just an ordinary herbal or organic plant,
Exactly.
but we are bringing a novel brand, something that has not happened. That is why, and that is why today we have series of testimonies. For example, we have a woman that was having cervical cancer that has stayed in the hospital. This is a proven testimony. I think I showed you the picture sometimes ago. Yeah. Now this woman, she has spent over 7 months in the hospital. 7 months.
Exactly.
And she sold everything she has in her house everything. Nothing was left for her. They had to tell her to go back, to the house and go and be praying, and maybe at the end of the day, anything that can happen or whatever. So, but God answers prayers in diverse ways.
Yes.
Then from there, a woman that got an opportunity to hear from us, just like how you are also hearing our voice this morning.
Exactly.
It might not really be you, but it might be people that your loved
Somebody
ones,
somewhere.
somebody somewhere that that is suffering of this same thing.
That's
A lot
it.
of women today, they are moving without breasts. Many of them, their breasts have been amputated because of cancer, breast cancer. And these are some of the things today, you understand, that you can actually take that will help you. And how does it work? Because our product contains alkaline. Now, when your body system is fully alkalinized, there is no carcinogen that can survive. There is no bacteria, there is no viruses, there is no fungus, there is no H. pylori, that is a bacteria causing ulcer, that can also survive. A lot of people believe that there is no cure to ulcer. But bring them to us. We are not saying we're going to cure them. Bring them to us. Then we'll come back and share their testimony.
Exactly.
All right. You want to add to that?
Yes,
Yeah?
of course.
Talk
Yes.
to us.
Emira Elysia is a product that I would love even my enemy to participate. That is why every home, every family needs
get.
a bottle, at least a bottle. Is a proven fact. Is a proven fact. We have gotten so many testimonies in various diversities from all the way from even outside the country, within Africa. Our African people, they are embracing this particular product called Elysia, because even a friend from Uganda called this morning.
And it said 100% natural,
yes,
right?
100% natural. So a friend from Uganda called this morning. The kind of testimonies that they are getting in different ways for people that are suffering from diabetes, high blood pressure, people with prostate cancer of any kind. So we are getting a lot.
Okay. So for those who might want to just quickly, want to get more information or want to get to visit you to find out how they can be healed or how they can get this product, what do they do?
Okay.
Now, sorry, please, thank you. Now, for these people that want to know more about us, to get to our office, they can come to number 101 Aino Street, opposite former NEPA office. That is a grammar school, Ojodubega.
Okay.
So if you are living around that axis, though a lot of people have been coming from far and near, you understand, to visit us, the healing center, where at the same time, we are not just coming to tell you, take this thing and use. No, we go to check you up. We have our testing
You
machines.
got a healing center, right?
Yes,
What's the
yes,
name
I
of
have.
that healing center?
Link Healing Naturopathic Clinic.
Link
Healing
Natural.
Naturopathic Clinic.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now when they come, they get not just about we giving them what to just take care of them, but at the same time, we let them know the type of food to eat. Because when you want your body system to heal on time, there are some things you also need to avoid, which is some acidic food. So now we use it to reduce the acidity of the body system, increases that of the alkalinity, so that your body gets to that capacity where it begins to start functioning for itself. So is it people that are having eye problem? Is it people that are having maybe cancer? Is it people that are having a diabetes, but any form whatsoever, that you have even stroke? We have a lot of stroke patients, partial stroke and all the rest, high blood pressures, even people that are having bad cholesterol that have blocked the wall of the arteries. So if proper care is not being taken care of, it can lead to stroke. Then even issues of osteoporosis, rheumatoid arthritis and all the rest of them. So if you know you are having all these long age ailments that have been there in the body over the years, over the months, over the weeks, over the days, I tell you, it is time for you to get back that solution. And that is why we are bringing Elysia to you, to restore your health, to restore back, to bring you back to that capacity where your body begins to function. That is what we're saying, and it is 100% organic.
Okay. So it has the capacity to get capacity.
To take care of every problems.
It has enough capacity to get
Yes.
capacity.
Yes.
Oh.
You know one thing about Emira, when it gets into your body system, it goes to stress wherever you're having issues.
Okay.
You begin to have a reaction maybe you might be thinking that this are you sure it will react to your health. Do you get it?
Yeah.
But by doing that, it's helping you to is healing crisis that is taking place as of that moment. Yes. Yes.
Now, I would want you to give out the address of your place, O-Link, or what do you call it?
Yeah, Whole-Link Healing.
O-Link
Yes.
Healing
Naturopathic Clinic. Yes,
okay.
and we are at number 101 Aino Street, opposite former NEPA office.
Okay.
Grammar school. That is a grammar school, Ojodu Bega.
Ojodu.
Then our phone number.
Yeah.
Okay, our phone number is 070
070
60
60
60
60
944
944
0.
0.
Yes.
Again, let's take that again. Slowly.
070
070
60
60
60 again
60
94
9440.
40. Or
Okay.
you can also reach us on our Airtel line at 080
080
24
24
26
26
81
8168.
68.
Let's take that again.
All right, 080
080
24
24
26
26
81
81
86.
86.
So just send us a text that you are coming so that
Okay.
we can reserve a space for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That is, just send a message,
Yes.
a text message or a WhatsApp message.
A
WhatsApp message or WhatsApp
will be all right.
A
message.
text? No, you mean text message?
Yes.
And
Or WhatsApp
Or
message.
WhatsApp
WhatsApp
message.
WhatsApp
Okay.
message.
Okay.
And
So
it will be taking place on Friday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. which
tomorrow's
is
Friday.
tomorrow.
Oh,
Yes,
beautiful.
tomorrow, Friday.
Tomorrow.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
11 a.m. Prompt. And the first 20 people that will be there, they will, all our health equipment will be given to them free. They will not pay. So after 20 people, they will pay a token. So it's
Okay.
better you come there on time, because we are going to teach you a lot. We are going
Free
to teach
Medicare
you,
for 20 people.
Yes. Yes.
That's nice.
Yes, because
That's
we'll
nice.
have so many other equipments that we can use on you, be it
Okay.
cancer, be it eye problem, be it any type. So the machine is available.
Beautiful. I love
Thank
this.
you.
20 people. 20, 20, 20. I hope you be part of the 20. You listening to me, right? Be part of the 20. You just text, all right, to that number. O-Link Naturopathic Healing
Yes. Clinic.
Clinic.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, that's it. He's at number 1, Alhaji Bakar.
No, number 101.
Okay, number 101. Okay, let me do this one. Oh, okay, that one has the. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Everyone listen to me. Is at number 101, Aino Street, opposite former NEPA office, Grammar School, Ojodu Bega. I'll take it again. Number 101, Aino Street, opposite former NEPA office, Grammar School, Ojodu Bega.
Bega.
All right. And the number again is 070 60 60 again 9440. All right. 070 60 60 again 9440 or 080 24 26 8168. 080 24 26 8168. When you visit O-Link Healing, I mean,
Your
You-
life will never remain the same.
okay, now so you
Your
talk
health. You will be stronger, and you will live longer and in good health also.
So they're asking you to check in for health solutions. They've got several machines to handle the issues, to handle your health challenges, okay? And when you do that, like she said, you will be glad you did that. Okay? Yeah. You want to add to that?
Yes, I want to add it's also a platform whereby you can also increase your finance.
Okay.
You know, in Nigeria now, so you don't rely only on one source. You need to have plan B to help yourself. You know, it's also a platform where you can also come. We teach you how you can also use Emira Global Elysia to help your family in order to reach out to health and also add some money into your pocket.
That is, understand the Emira Elixir and
Yes.
also spread the message and
Yes.
get some some money inside your.
Yeah, so meaning that as we have a lot of people that are also going to be helping us to share this good news, we equally reward them because we are known for that. We reward hard work, people who want to earn a living. Yes, financial freedom.
I love that.
Yes,
I love that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Indeed.
God bless
Thank you
you.
so much.
All right.
Yeah. VOP 90.3 FM. I'll go on a very short break, and when I'm done, Dr. Adeogun will be joining us live. Stay there. I'll be right back.
Ndewo, my country people. I say make I remind una. The radio station where they allow you talk your mind, they for this Lagos. Now voice of the people, 90.3 FM, where you fit listen to better programs and shows.
Hey, Oga wa Town Crier, ṣé wọ́n ní jolly entertainment program ṣá?
Of course.
Do they have political programs and news for intellectual savvy people like me?
Oga Professor, that one sef dey.
Excuse me, sir. Do they have children programs too?
My dear, children sef get their own segment. Any other questions?
Wait, now what be the radio station number? The frequency na 90.3 FM, Voice of the People. The number one ogbonge station where they give you a voice. Rush, make you go listen now.
Voice of the People.
VOP 90.3 FM, Voice of the People Radio.
Hello, is that Voice of the People Radio?
VOP 90.3 FM.
In a world where about 8 billion people are connected by click, there's a new way to get connected. Introducing the all-new VOP FM website, where talk meet innovations. Get ready to be tuned in.
I'm walking the bull.
Tired of searching for the perfect station that matches your taste? Look no further. With our all-new easy-to-use website, you can now discover a world of conversations that resonate with you.
Whether you're a fan of news, business, sports, entertainment, or the latest chart-topping jams to soothe your soul, the VOP FM website has got you covered.
It's a one-stop destination for all your cravings.
Experience seamless streaming with our user-friendly interface. Access our website on www.voiceofthepeople.ng from any device, be it your computer,
tablet,
or smartphone, and enjoy uninterrupted talk and news at your fingertips. www.voiceofthepeople.ng.
Voice of the People 90.3 FM.
Now you have a voice.
It's about that time for this conversation.
We want to know what the public has to say.
Your voice.
First subsidies removed.
My voice. Our voices must be heard.
Problem here, as far as I'm concerned, it's not helping the society because the way things are going now, everything has gone up.
For current news and daily updates, trends and vibes, vital information and more. Tune in daily to the best radio station. VOP, Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, Lagos. Now, you have a voice. Speak up.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Dr. Adeogun is just right here in the studio, and well, he's close to the microphone already. Doctor, talk to us.
Yeah, good morning
to you.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine. Quick one. Nigerians are scared of hospital. With fear whenever they hear hospital. What's the cause?
Well, it's still the same problem.
They're scared whenever you mention hospital.
They don't want to. They don't want to hear what will break their hearts. Essentially, because most of the time, when you go to the hospital, the doctor would always examine you, review your results, and probably detect a thing or two. And whenever the findings are, made available to the patient, the patient starts panicking and is worried, sleepless nights and all that. But that's not the right approach. The right approach is actually they find out a problem. You should ask the doctor, what are the next steps? What do we do, or where do we go from here? So that the doctor would professionally advise you on the right steps, and then you kick in the right intervention early. Because that's the idea, not for you to disappear and not come back to the hospital, or for you to say you don't even want to show up in the hospital in the first place. Because whether you show up or not, if that illness is present, at some point it will rear up its ugly head, and it may be a bit complicated by the time you get to come to the hospital. So it's always better to nip things in the bud early, so you don't need to run away from hospital. Going to the hospital is crucial to maintain good health.
Okay, everyone was streaming, okay, on all of our social media platforms. Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Just go there and watch us live. Like I said, drop a comment or drop a question if you don't mind, okay? Just a question, and doctor will get to answer it. Today, we want to look at something really, really vital. Typhoid, cholera, dirty water, malaria, and all of that. We're looking at how to protect oneself, especially malaria, beyond mosquito net thing. Everybody is using mosquito net, but you just discovered that malaria is still coming. Like, you still feel like, you ask yourself, what's going on? And they ask you, do you use malaria? Do you use mosquito net? I use mosquito net, but then, first of all, let's break it down one after the other. Malaria.
Malaria is a condition that is endemic to the tropics, and living in Africa it's something that we were all born into, and then we've grown up to know about the condition. We know that it's transmitted by the bite of the Anopheles mosquito, and usually the parasites are introduced into the bloodstream. It has its life cycle somewhere in the liver and in the red blood cell, and ultimately it causes breakdown of red cells, and certain biological processes take place that now result in the symptoms we see as fever, headache, body pains, loss of appetite, and all that.
Okay.
And then it comes with these chills that you feel more in the evenings and all. So, but basically, the truth of the matter is, if a condition like that is endemic to Africa, then we should look beyond just treatment. We should look more on the preventive aspect. Because, we all keep saying prevention is better than cure, but what are we doing in terms of preventing malaria? There was this rollback malaria initiative that had to do with insecticide-treated nets, making sure that pregnant women and children under 5 who are most vulnerable to malaria, and even the elderly age group, are well protected. But we don't talk about the environmental hygiene.
Of course.
Because where do these mosquitoes breed in the first instance? They breed in stagnant water bodies, in ponds, in blocked drainages that are not flowing and all that, in swamps. That is where they breed. So what are we doing about our environment? So an environment that has lots and lots of mosquitoes, then you need to work on, environmental hygiene. So we need to make sure that our drainages are functional. We need to make sure that stagnant water bodies are eliminated, and then we kill the larva stages of the mosquito in those ponds. So we need a lot of creating our awareness creation in terms of managing our environment properly, and that has to do with the Ministry of Environment and even the government, playing a crucial role in influencing the safety and health of the environment, because the environment plays a huge role. Because without mosquito bites, there won't be malaria. So what are you using mosquito nets to prevent? Malaria bites. So why, mosquito bites. So why are you not working on the environment where these mosquitoes actually breed? So we can do that as a starting point. And then we should also make sure that for a lot of people, once they have the symptoms of malaria, they should go and get tested, because sometimes malaria symptoms may mimic other conditions too. There are other conditions too that may look like malaria. But, because of self-medication being rampant in the environment, everybody just goes straight to get a medication, always assuming it's malaria. And you may test for malaria and find out it's not malaria. So it is not every fever that you actually experience that is due to malaria. So we need to also emphasize the need for people to go get tested, be evaluated by a doctor, and be examined by a doctor And based on the findings of the examination with your doctor, you're able to know precisely what the diagnosis is and treat appropriately. And basically, another thing is some people, like those that live with sickle cell anemia, may need to be on what we call malaria prevention medications.
Okay.
Because malaria is a major trigger for their crisis. And then pregnant women at some point also undergo what we call the intermittent prophylaxis therapy, whereby we're giving them some malaria prevention drugs so that they don't have malaria in pregnancy that can complicate the pregnancy or give issues to the unborn child. And it's necessary also for us to realize that making sure that we are healthy in terms of nutrition, making sure our immune status is good, and making sure that also the insecticide treated nets are used. Because a lot of people don't like the idea of being, under the net. I hear a lot of people complain that they don't like the feeling they have. They have a feeling of being caged in, when they're under the mosquito net. But it's better for you to feel that way than come down with malaria. And, you also don't want to abuse the malaria treatment drugs because of drug resistance and treatment failure. Because a lot of people now find out that even after taking malaria medications, they still feel ill. Probably because it wasn't malaria they had in the first instance, or probably because they did not complete the correct regimen of treatment. A lot of people, they start treatment, but they don't follow through to actually complete their treatments, for the recommended duration, of treatment. So it's essential that we have a holistic view about malaria, starting from prevention. Prevention includes your mosquito-treated nets, your use of insecticides, and then your environment. I think we need to emphasize more on the environment. Because, yes, environment. These are the rainy days. It's been raining seriously since last month, and then you still have a lot of flooding. You still have a lot of swamped area, waterlogged areas, blocked drainages. So even our little habits can also help us. With malaria, stop dumping things into the drainages. Find out proper refuse disposal methods, and making sure that our drainages are flowing so that we have less stagnant water. And then we can actually get the Ministry of Environment to do something to those drainages. We can add certain things to alter the surface tension of the water, that the larva of the mosquito can't survive there, or they can do some kind of treatment to the drainages that would actually kill the larva stage of the mosquitoes before they breed to the full insects where they can actually bite people. So it's very essential that we pay attention to the environment. So it's not only about treatment or the mosquito nets. I think we need to do a lot on our environment. Looking at Lagos, for instance, we have a lot of work to do when it comes to the environment. So it's part of what will actually ensure that we have reduced the burden of malaria. Because malaria plays a crucial role in, in the productivity of people. A lot of people, absenteeism from work due to malaria, a lot of decline in productivity of organizations.
I want to ask you, is it true that typhoid and malaria goes together?
It's not true.
Some people, when you have malaria, you go and treat typhoid.
No, that's always a
typhoid
wrong
and malaria,
notion.
you must treat it together.
No, that's a wrong notion. It is not that you can't have two of them, coexisting at the same time. It's possible, but they are not from the same source. Because malaria is from the bite of the Anopheles mosquito, and it's caused by Plasmodium species.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And then you now have typhoid caused by contaminated food and water from salmonella infection. So they're completely different. So salmonella is actually a bacterium, that causes digestive symptoms. So you find out that a lot of people that have typhoid, it's because they've eaten what should not be eaten. And if you actually find out how typhoid is transmitted, it's actually quite disgusting, because it's from contaminated food and water that has been contaminated by human wastes. So you can imagine people, feeding from water or food sources that have been contaminated by human feces. That's quite, it's not a good thing to think about. But that is how typhoid is transmitted. That is how cholera is transmitted. That is how H. pylori is transmitted. Those infection, really? Yes, fecal-oral route. So it's just like people's feces mixes with the food and water that you consume. So that's why they call it fecal-oral. So from the feces to the mouth enters the body system, causes that infection. So you can imagine that those things, those conditions I mentioned now, typhoid, cholera, H. pylori infection, they would be occurring where you have water for consumption mixing with sewage. So that tells you something about the environment again. It goes back to the environment. It goes back to the lifestyle and the habits and the hygiene of the community where people live. So that means that areas where you have this, the prevalence of this condition tells you that something is seriously wrong with the environmental hygiene. So we can't overemphasize the need for attention to the environment.
So you're saying that both typhoid, malaria, cholera, and dirty water are all related. Is that what you're saying?
They are directly related. Flood water, whenever it rains and everywhere it's flooded because of poor drainage, sometimes you don't even know where the drainage is anymore. You can't distinguish the drainage from the road because everywhere is overflowing. And then for some people who have bad sewage disposal methods and open defecation that you have, that is still prevalent, you can imagine all sorts of things that are going to be in that flood water. And that flood water would also merge with what people use to cook their foods or wash their plates or their utensils or for their domestic use. It's almost like an epidemic can happen from there. So we need to work on our environment. Our environment plays a crucial role to our well-being and our health.
I also want us to talk about, food poisoning. I remember the last time I mentioned food poisoning, a lot of persons told me, wow, we should really, really talk about it because some people don't mind eating anywhere. Dirty kitchens and what do I call it now? Street food. In Lagos. Street food. Lagosians are so used to someone can be coming from what do I call it? Where do I say now? Maybe Badagry, to maybe around Oshodi. The guy can just stop by at my 2, to just grab something to eat on that one bridge and further the journey. They feel it's good food. Food is food, as far as cooked well and all of that. I wanted to, talk about that, the danger in it.
Well, anything we consume, there's a saying that says you are what you eat. So whatever you eat plays a crucial role in your well-being and your health generally. So a lot of people, maybe because of the hustling and bustling in Lagos, and everybody's in a hurry, there's no time, you leave your house early, and then you're just passing somewhere and you see, oh, it looks like they're cooking food here. Let me just stop by and eat without actually finding out how the food was prepared, under what conditions it was prepared, and how is it served, and what environment are you even eating in? All those play a crucial role. And, the method of preparing food and even storage of food, determines the quality of that food. And unfortunately, in Nigeria, we need agencies that will help us enforce the need for food handlers tests. There's something called food handlers test. So that means that people who prepare what others consume, either in hotels or in schools or in restaurants, food vendors generally, or people who are involved in the packaging of food or whatever people consume, they should be mandatorily undergoing some tests that are called food handlers tests. So these tests screen them for certain infections. And the moment you find out that they have any of this infection, you may need to, stop them from working temporarily, get themselves treated, have a post-treatment assessment. And when they are negative to those infections, then they can resume back their normal duties. Because there are a lot of foodborne diseases. We call them foodborne infections. And they include what we've, mentioned. The cholera, the salmonella or the typhoid infection. You also have H. pylori infection that causes peptic ulcer or gastritis. Then you also have, other infections that are transmissible through through contaminated food and water, that we call foodborne infections. All these are very preventable when people get screened when they're handling food. It's very essential that food handlers tests, is prioritized, because that's one of the ways you can actually curb the outbreak of certain foodborne infections. Then certain infections too, like Lassa fever, the hemorrhagic fevers, they're also caused by waste from rodents. urine from rodents.
From rodents.
Rodents, yes, and then waste products of rodents contaminating your food. So how do you know that wherever you're going to eat, where they stored the gari or where they stored whatever they are preparing for you, rodents have not, gotten there, interacted with the food, probably
especially
done
gari.
Yeah, you don't, and other grains too, including rice, beans, whatever it is. You don't know how well they preserve these things, and you don't know where they are stored, and you cannot even vouch for those preparing the food themselves, and in under what conditions the foods are prepared. So all these things play a very important role in what is transmitted into the food. So sometimes you hear in Nigeria that there's cholera outbreak somewhere. It's because it's something that spreads very quickly. It's very contagious, and it's something that is deadly, and it can affect communities in large numbers very, very quickly. And it is from contaminated food and water. So foodborne infection, there are a lot of them. You also have Shigella. That's also a type of organism that causes foodborne infections that can also be deadly. I mentioned the Lassa fever one too, cholera. All these things, they are very preventable. Okay. All you just need to know is that you can't just be eating anywhere. And the food handlers too, they should, owners of restaurants or schools or hotels, should make sure that they create time and allow those handling the foods to be screened. The chefs, the cooks, the people handling food in one way or the other, who come in contact with the food or the storage of the food, be screened for this infection. Mm-hmm. Then even hepatitis A and E, in particular, but hepatitis A and E are also fecal-oral transmitted infections too, that can also be transmitted through food and water. So it is essential that, look, if you want a healthy community and you want a healthy population, you have to make sure that the food and water consumption, is kept hygienic. And the source of water too, source of drinking water, source of water for domestic use must be thoroughly treated and must be made pure in essence before consumption. And you know that all sorts of water are available now. Sachet water. I don't know where a lot of people get the water they consume from.
Okay.
All those things are sources of infection.
But I hear people say when food, passes through heat, like boiled water, it doesn't actually affect anymore. If you cook it well, every of the whatever will just die, and you have a good meal. Is that true?
Well, to a good extent, your cooking, kills off some of the infections and all that, and harmful microorganisms that may be present in the food. But how can you actually vouch for a food that has been served to you and you don't even know how long it was cooked for? Because sometimes you eat in some restaurants and they serve you cold food. You don't know how long the food has been there for. And then we hear that in some other places, they even serve you food from the previous day, sadly, and you don't know how it was preserved, and a lot of things may happen, to the food, a lot of breakdown of certain important vitamins because of the process the food has gone through. Because the process of cooking food and the process of preparation of food also disrupts important nutrients in your food, and then the value of those nutrients, you don't actually get them. For instance, your vegetables, you are not to cook vegetables for so long. Otherwise, you kill off the vitamins, you kill off all the nutrients that you're supposed to derive from the food. So the process of food preparation, packaging, and processing also distorts the relevant vitamins that your body should extract from that food. So you can now see that actually the best bet for you, if you can, is to actually monitor your food and prepare your food yourself as much as possible. We know in some situations you may not be able to do so, but that's why we're calling on the government and other agencies that are regulatory agencies to wake up to the call, to make sure that food handlers screening tests are actually enforced, so that people must go through this test. That is one of the best ways to curb foodborne diseases and infection.
So for sometimes they tell you it's not the food but the water. Is that true? Like this food, street food, it's not the food itself, but the water you drink after.
Absolutely. That's why we say food and water-borne diseases. Whatever you consume to a large extent, affects your health. Even the source of the water, like we mentioned in the.
Okay, and again, are you now saying the one you consume, the one you go walk into an eatery to eat, is better than the mama put out there?
You can't. There's really no difference if they don't undergo food handlers test, because the fact that somebody is in an air conditioned place and the place looks like a restaurant and a very cozy place doesn't mean that the people serving you the food are all healthy. If you don't go through food handlers test, they don't write this thing on people's faces. So the fact that people serving you look healthy doesn't mean that they don't have infections that can be transmissible through the food. So food handlers test is mandatory. The source of water must be clean, of course, and then you must have regulatory agency and the Standard Organization of Nigeria and other regulatory agencies that maintain standards, quality control, and all those things must play a crucial role in making sure that they do inspections, regular inspections of hotels, hospitals, restaurants, and all that, to make sure that people are cooking under hygienic conditions. The source of water they are using in preparing this food, is something they would verify. If they need to do some treatment to the water, it must be done before they resume functioning again, because that's the only way to curb these things. And then there's also a role for vaccination. There are typhoid vaccines available that last for 3 years. A lot of people may not be aware that you can be vaccinated against typhoid. Some of these, some of these foodborne infections, you have vaccines for them. Hepatitis A vaccine is available. You can go and get this vaccination so that.
But people don't know all of this.
Yeah, it's very important. That's why we are creating awareness that vaccination is important, so that even if you do come in contact with this, you are protected. You're protected against these things. Though they have a lifespan, but at least you know that for the period of the validity of that vaccine, you are protected against these things, in as much as you're still watching what you're eating, though.
Someone sent a message just now. Like I said, everyone, you're free to, join the conversation by sending your message. Someone sent a message, Doc, it's like the malaria drugs we have these days are no longer working. How would you respond to that?
Well, the truth is, it's not that they're not working. They are, but if you look at how long we've started using the ACTs that we call the artemisinin combination therapy, it's been around more than 15 years now, or going up to 20 years. And I think personally we are not a research-oriented country, because if we were, we would probably be finding more efficacious medications now. Because over time, there can be drug resistance. Over time, you can have treatment failure. That's why in other climes, they are very dynamic and their research is massively funded, because they know that is the only way they can only get better drugs that with good efficacy, that you take it once and you know that you're taking something that would work perfectly well. So we need a dynamic research facility or centers all over the country, whereby you have good funding, you have faculties that are working day and night looking for new drugs, doing new clinical trials, developing new medications that are very, very effective, so that by the time you are noticing a decline in the effectiveness of treatments, you are bringing up newer drugs that are able to fit in immediately to make sure that the malaria burden is kept, is curbed, or it doesn't get out of hand, because malaria still kills. That's the truth. It still kills. It's still something that we underestimate, but it still kills a large number of people. So it's something that is preventable. And then, like we said, it is not only about us. The government has a crucial role to play. The Ministry of Health and the government in general, funding massively research centers and making sure that we're having enough hands in preparing new medications ahead of the future, so that once we notice any treatment failure, we're going to have new drugs that are going to take over and do the work for us.
Voice of the People 90.3 FM. In case you want to send a message, just do it via WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is 081-717-56338. 081-717-56338. We're talking health issues or health related issues this morning. Okay, my name is Jude and I am having this conversation with Dr. Charles Adiogun. 070-121-46454. 070-121-46454. One thing that comes to mind is self-medication. Self-medication. We are so used to self-medicating. Yeah, self-medication everywhere. When you see people, when you feel like this, just go do this one. Go take agbo. There's a particular agbo you can ask for, or there's a certain kind of mixture you should request for. That people just feel, if they feel a certain way, then this one is just what this way is where you should go. All right. I don't know. We Africans or Nigerians were so used to it. In fact, even children. Stomach is a child is having stomach ache, and the next thing is bring flagyl or tetracycline. Just bring the two, make we add together and give it to the child. Not necessarily finding out, what is really going on. Doctor, why?
Well, I think this is a trait in Nigeria and I guess in Africa, that a lot of people just assume that, look, these are common complaints we've always known or we've always seen around us, and we have our ways around it. But the truth is, when it comes to your health, you can't just put your health up to chance, because you can't just do trial and error and just hope that whatever you're taking would work, because some major illnesses start as minor symptoms, and you may just trivialize them, not realizing that what you're dealing with is a very serious condition. Okay. And by the time you present at a hospital, things are already complicated or is at an advanced stage. And unfortunately, in some cases, little can be done by the time they present at the hospital. So I think the idea of self-medication comes from people, looking at the financial implications of going to see a doctor at a hospital.
Oh, yeah?
So they're probably thinking it's cheaper, it's faster for them to go somewhere close to them. I even hear that there are some terms that they use. Please help me mix some medication, help me mix, and then, somebody somewhere who is not a trained medical professional gives you some medications to take, and you go back to take these medications, and if it works for you, fine. If it doesn't work for you, you come back and try another one. I think it is a very dangerous and risky behavior, because you are putting your organs at risk, and you are probably joking with very important health conditions. Because at the end of the day, the truth is, the hospital you're actually running away from, when things get complicated, you'll run back to that same hospital, and then you're going to pay more. You have wasted money and you have wasted time, valuable time that would have saved the person's life. And then you're coming to the hospital expecting the doctor to do magic. So it is in our best interest as a people to make sure that once we have any medical condition or we notice some symptoms, we go to see a licensed medical professional to evaluate us, to assess us, to examine us, send us for relevant investigation, nail the diagnosis correctly, and with a precise diagnosis, you can get the appropriate treatment that would ensure that the person recovers in the quickest possible time. But when you are self-medicating, you are subjecting yourself to somebody else's decision, and the person is not liable because you went to the person and you have paid for whatever you have paid for. Whether it's going to help you or kill you, you don't know. You've paid for it. Whether it's going to damage your organs or not, you have no clue. Whether you're going to be reacting to it or have an allergic whatever to what you are consuming, you have no clue. And the person you're going to meet is not a professional. So the person is going to miss out all the vital steps that you would need to get a correct diagnosis. When you go to self-medicate at a chemist or wherever you go to, there's no time, because it's a business. The person does not have time to ask a detailed history about your health. The person does not have time to examine you. And besides, the person cannot even examine you because he's not a doctor. And the person does not even have time to ask you, oh, have you taken a drug before that has caused a problem for you? Or do you have an underlying condition that we need to know about so we don't give you a drug that will further complicate an underlying condition you have? He doesn't have time for that. He just wants to sell to you and straight up to the next customer. You are just a number on the game. And why would you subject yourself to that? Why would you put your life in danger? And why would you not fear the damage done to your organs? It is one of the reasons why we have a large number of people with kidney problems today, because of abuse of medication, because of self-medication, because of use of herbal concoctions, because of use of mixtures that you don't know the components and the composition of those things, and you don't know what their short-term and long-term complications will be on your organs. So it's in our best interest not to self-medicate. The doctor is not just there to eat your money as people think. The doctor just wants to collect my money. But the truth is, it is for your own good. People have gone through strict training to become doctors. They've gone through a lot of reading, a lot of research to get to where they are today. And that is why they are there to help you, to guide you on your path to recovery. So you neglecting that path to follow another path is to your peril.
Someone is asking how to get to you, how to get to talk to you, personally or privately or something. Okay. How do they get to reach you?
Okay, they can get to reach me on social media, on Doctor's Mike on Facebook, Doctor's Mike on Instagram. So Doctor's Mike, doctor spelled as Doctor apostrophe S, then MIC. You can
Doctor's Mike.
Yeah, Doctor's Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, on Facebook and Instagram, you can drop your questions or your comments, and we'll be happy to respond.
Somebody just sent a message now. He said, Doc, your Facebook account is not active. Why? Doctor's Mike. That's Gloria T from TA Lagwaja Barracks.
Well, when it comes to posting, maybe we have not been doing much of postings, but we respond to messages. So you can drop your messages, you can drop your comments. If you want any kind of information or guidance, I think we would do more of responding to comments there. But if you want to see more postings, we promise you in the coming days, you have a lot of postings coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. These are questions coming in now. I said it last week that... Okay. Someone is asking, what are the side effects of those vaccines that you mentioned?
Well, vaccines, before they are thrown out to the public, they've gone through all sorts of clinical trials, they've gone through all sorts of research work. They use a small target population first, making sure that there are no short-term, long-term, or medium-term adverse reaction before they are considered safe for the general public. So vaccines are relatively safe to a large extent. They are safe. So it's very, very hard for you to have vaccines that have been there long-term over time, causing major issues, because if they were to cause major issues, they won't be authorized for use, for the general population. So those vaccines are very, very safe, and we actually advocate for you to use them, make use of them, because you are going to be protecting yourself from very, very preventable illnesses that can have major complications on your health. So getting them, would improve your well-being, will improve the well-being of your family. And then you can also screen your workers. If you have a restaurant, for instance, you can screen them for those things. If they have it, treat them. Okay. Once they are out of those infections or whatever, then you can vaccinate them. And people that are negative to those infections, you can actually vaccinate them, so that you make sure that at least you are doing your own part. You are lighting your own candle somewhere, and you are making a difference.
But these vaccines, are they sold everywhere? How do you
vaccines are readily available. You can talk to your local government, your primary healthcare centers. In your local government, we have primary healthcare centers everywhere. And then for the private hospitals, they're also available. So you can go to a good health facility and request for these vaccines, and they will be made available to you. So even if they don't have them, readily available, they can make orders for you and get them available to you.
Okay. On these issue, somebody is saying, I think the agency or government is not doing anything about the food handlers or the food handlers testing, because first the health official go about collecting money instead of enforcement. And as for the food handlers test, in my last workplace, I wouldn't mention the name, he said we do a lot of food handlers tests, and the result came back that a lot of people working there have hepatitis B, and are still working in that company till now.
So when we're talking about things like this, things of public health significance, there's no way we would not always mention the government. The government has a crucial role to play, because they are the policy makers, and they can actually enforce these policies. So we need the legislature, and the arm of government in charge of health and safety.
Yeah.
To please make sure that these policies are enforced.
The health ministry.
Yeah, the health ministry, they are enforced, because food handlers test is mandatory. it is not negotiable. It's something that should be there. It's something that can ensure that people consume healthy foods. The people that prepare this food, the methods of preparation of this food, the storage of these foods, and everybody that comes in contact with the food packaging till it gets to the final consumers are properly screened. And it is not a one-time thing. It's a continuous process. It's a continuous screening. It can be done quarterly. It can be done biannually, but it should be done. And anybody found to have any of these infections must stop work until they get properly treated. And there must be a post-treatment assessment that they are actually fit to return back to work. Otherwise, we'll just be joking, trying to say we're trying to make sure that the public is healthy, we're trying to make sure that our population is, disease-free. Then it will all be a joke. If we're not working on our environment, we're not working on food and water safety and hygiene, then we'll just be scratching the surface. Then that means that all we're talking about is not enforced. So these policies must exist, and we must have agencies that would make sure that those policies are enforced. And not only are they enforced, if you find anybody who is not following these protocols or these processes, they should be strictly penalized. That is the only way you can get, good effects for what we're talking about. Otherwise, we won't achieve the healthy environment or the healthy community that we're all hoping for.
You can send your messages to 081 717 56338. 081 717 56338. I'm having a conversation with Dr. Charles Adiogun just right here in the studio. I don't want to take calls, I don't want to take calls. We'll just do messages and we're good to go. Okay, as I said, just send me a message and we're just good. 081 717 56338. Okay. Okay. He said, Doctor's Mike on. Please.
Doctor's Mike on Facebook. Doctor's Mike on Instagram. At least those two platforms. Drop your messages. Drop your comments. If you need any guidance, if you need any advice, health advice or medical advice, be free to drop your comments there, and we'll be sure to respond to you in a timely fashion, and then we'll give you all the necessary information you would need.
Okay. But before we go, I just want to do a little bit of okay. Let me ask him this question. I got this question just now. It's talking about I don't know, an infection that has been there for a very long time. I said he has done so many things, but it's still not, it's still there. I don't know what you want to say to this person.
To this person, I want you to, infection is a broad term. So when you talk of infection, even if it's a sexually transmitted infection, you have different types of sexually transmitted infection. And you cannot treat anything blindly. So that means you cannot just close your eyes and pick a random antibiotic and use and expect it to work. So what you should do is you should see a doctor. A doctor will take a detailed history. How did it start? For how long have you had it? What symptoms are you experiencing? Do you have any urethral discharge? Are you having any pain when urinating? Are you having any genital ulcers or sores? Are you having any purple around your genitals? Are you having any discomforts, when you're peeing? All those are very relevant information, and it tells us one thing or the other. And then from there, we can actually do a proper investigation, send you for relevant tests. Sometimes the tests that people go for are tests that are not relevant to what they're experiencing. And it's because they are not properly guided by a doctor. But a doctor will tell you these are the important tests, these are the important screenings you need to go for. Sometimes we have what we call the STI package of investigations. It contains all the relevant STIs. You get screened for them, and then you are able to pick up, do you have one or two or even multiple infections, because it's a possibility. And then when we're able to get your precise diagnosis, we're going to institute the right treatment, and then you will definitely see improvement. So it is not for you to try random antibiotics, get resistance, antibiotic resistance that would not now work for the treatment anymore. Rather than you doing that, please see a licensed doctor, get the proper test done, get your precise diagnosis, and the right treatment would be commenced.
You said there are different, types of infection.
Absolutely, yeah. Different STIs. You have gonorrhea, you have syphilis, you have chlamydia infection, you have chlamydia infection, like I mentioned. You have.
Do they have same symptoms?
No, different symptoms. Syphilis, HIV, hepatitis B is also sexually transmitted. Hepatitis C is also sexually transmitted. Okay, we mentioned HIV as well. All these are all STIs. STI, you have the herpes simplex infection. It's a constellation of infections that have terrible, very terrible symptoms and potential complications, and they can ultimately affect your fertility as well if you don't manage them well. So a lot of people may also be having infertility issues from improperly chronic STIs, that were not properly managed. So you need to go for all these screenings. So mandatorily, if you're doing an STI package, you should have your HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, VDRL or syphilis screening. You have your urethral swab for gonorrhea infection. You have your chlamydia test. All these are very, very relevant to make sure that you handle your infection properly. And herpes simplex virus is something too that stays a long time in people. It's a chronic infection that is there, and when your immune system is low, it raises up its head, but it's always there. So that's why we tell people abstinence, safe sex, all those are essential to reduce the transmission of these infections.
Finally, if someone has hepatitis already, how can the person still go for vaccine? Can the person still go for vaccine?
You have hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. So it depends on which type of hepatitis you're talking about. If it's hepatitis B that people talk about commonly, it's an infection, transmitted through sex and through contaminated blood, screenings, or sharing sharps with people, just like the way HIV is transmissible. So if you already have an infection, you cannot be vaccinated against what you have already. So you have to treat the infection. Vaccines are only given to people that are negative to that infection, so they can get protection against that infection. So basically, if you have it, you have to get it treated first, before when it's out of your system that you can now consider.
Thank you, Doc.
Getting any kind of vaccine.
Thank you so much. To reach you again, you said Doctor's Mike.
Yeah, Doctor's Mike. Doctor's Mike on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Drop your messages, drop your comments, drop whatever your questions are too. Yeah, so we're able to guide you.
All right, we are VOP 90.3 FM, voice of the people, doing this for the people. All right, and it's not just my doctor. All right, I want you to just know that. Yeah, know that when you meet him, you know that. It's okay. Let's leave that. Doc, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Voice of the people, 90.3 FM. It's time to go. All right. I'll see you again tomorrow. On Facebook, on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I am Ikami Jude. It's spelled IKAMIJUDEH. IKAMIJUDEH. But my name is Jude. Ikami Jude. Good morning.
Welcome to the best exclusive radio station.